Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today, we're painting.
That's right, folks. As you saw in our Sunday show-off show, the little guy and I will be painting simultaneously this time, first for us, 2 of the Xenodragons from the Archon Dungeons & Lasers 2 Kickstarter. The little guy is going to be using a homemade contrast paint, and I'll give you the recipe for that in just a minute. I'm using Army Painter's night scales with a small amount of flow aid. I think 4 drops for what is probably about 2, maybe 3 milliliters of paint. I hope it's less because this paint is kind of hard to actually get. The contrast paint mixture, because sometimes, man.
Let's hope we can pick that up.
It's 2 milliliters of matte medium, 2 milliliters of your favorite ink. I use Dr. Martin's.
Isn't the only one we find?
Yeah, you can use other, basically any kind of India ink.
You can probably even use Vallejo inks.
Right, you probably could.
But we think India inks are the best, even though we actually don't know.
And then between 5 and 10 drops of flow aid. For this particular mixture, I made it a little larger, and I did test it last night. It looks pretty good, so we're just about ready to roll. Before we start painting, though, I want to say hi and thank you to a couple of our new subscribers. We've had a few lately, starting with Just Brian. Loved your comments. Hope you keep watching. Dueling, you're new to the channel. Hope you guys all enjoy this episode tonight. We're going to really try to bang this out pretty quick. Jeff Wright and Grim to Say also, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Again, I hope you guys are having a great Mother's Day. Ready to start painting?
No.
Okay, well, we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Just don't pour all of that out there. Just pour a little bit at a time as you need it. You just pour more in.
Not enough?
Yeah, maybe a little more. Yeah, just... I know I made more than you need, and it's hard to get it back into the bottle. I always waste a little bit when I do that. Put the cap on. Don't want to have a spill. I saw a horrible meme today of somebody spilling their coffee. It is allergy season.
Why is it so bad?
Because
the
it's
one
allergy.
day that we decide
To paint?
No, not to paint, but
To record. Yeah, 'cause we paint every day, actually, or at least I do. I actually have a mountain of things to paint for next week. And because he's using contrast paint, he's going to start at the very top and work his way down so that as it flows, he can keep up with it and not have it run and drip like it's doing on the back right there. If you turn it around, you can see you want to keep up with that. I'm going to start with the wings because I always stop at the very uppermost portion. And because I'm using a brand new color of paint. Oh, what do you think?
What?
The color. We've really hardly used this at all.
Except we used it in one video?
Right. We used it for the testing of this paint with the Army Painter metallic set. And we really liked it, but we painted such a small miniature that it was hard to get a really accurate impression. I mean, we really liked it right off the bat. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's actually a very interesting color, a cross between black and silver, which was a great song by Blue Oyster Cult. But we're only going to be doing the base coats for these miniatures tonight because the contrast paint, despite its fluidity, does take a while to dry. You don't want to get any weird streaks or anything like that. With this Army Painter, I'm just doing a base coat, and it's a lot less temperamental. I can just slap this on. The reason I added the flow aid for the regular Army Painter was to make sure I don't obscure any of these little details, like right here along his arm, his wing arms, if you will. I just wanted to make sure that you can see all those little lines, because with this dragon and the one he's painting, we are going to be doing, well, but we're doing different paint jobs. We're going to be doing it.
Just so you know, mine's going to be entirely blue.
Right.
I mean, not the whole thing. It's actually going to be more purplish. But though I'm just doing a base coat of blue on the whole thing.
And like I was about to say, we're going to do an extensive amount of dry brushing with these dragons. Hence the reason we are thinning these paints down as much as possible using the contrast paints.
What happens with those bubbles? Because there's a lot of them in contrast paints.
You
Do they just disappear?
You need to help them disappear by popping them. Whenever you can, but you can come back to them later and pop them if they have.
How do you pop them if anytime you try to pop them, they show up again, just smaller?
Yeah, you just have to keep at it. I was having problems with the miniature I was painting last night with that blue. Because it had a lot of thin surfaces.
Why do you use a contrast paint? Just to test it?
Yeah, basically to test it and to prepare it for a video we're going to do either next week or the week after. I wanted it to be in part of the video. But I've been meaning to paint that particular miniature for 10 years. I have miniatures in my pile of shame, garage of shame, that have literally sat there for some as long as 20 and 30 years that I've neglected to paint them. So those of you with piles of shame in your garages or on your work table, don't feel bad, because I am probably the king of procrastinators when it comes to getting around to painting things. I have some very old miniatures that I'll never paint, and those don't get included in that pile of shame. I have miniatures that are almost older than I am, and I have no intentions of painting those. But
you have intentions of selling them?
No.
Oh, why do you want to not paint them, but also you don't want to sell them?
Because they're just collector's items. Not really collector's items. I've made them in my mind collector's items. Just things I don't want to ever paint. With our friend who casts miniatures, sometimes having a completely unpainted original miniature is exactly what he would want to make more copies of that miniature. And for something like that, I'd be more than happy to donate my originals to make masters so that he can then make copies of them and get them to even more people. My one little miniature, only benefits me, but if I...
And don't you have a few miniatures made by a guy who died shortly after making them?
Yes, I do.
And there's barely any on the planet?
Yes, that's the case with...
And then you bought a random box with a bunch of stuff, and then there was another one in it?
Yep.
But it was still in its brew?
Yep. eBay is a wonderful place to get miniatures. We shop there regularly.
He does, I don't.
Yeah. I actually sell miniatures on eBay too, but the only miniatures I actually sell at the moment are heritage miniatures, because they're the best and my favorite of all time.
Well, how are you getting rid of them if they're the best?
Well, because I have extras.
That makes sense.
When it comes, yes, obviously there are new miniatures that have come out that
they're better quality.
They're better detail. I'm not going to say quality, because I prefer metal over plastic every day of the week. But
yeah, I still feel like metal actually can brand. Yeah, it can brand.
Render?
No, bend or break a bit easier than plastic, but not entirely.
Right.
But
I was watching a video from Uncle Adam today just about that very subject. There are different pros and cons for both metal and plastic miniatures. Some people like
so
one.
From plastic, I think being cheaper.
Because in the long run, you can actually make metal miniatures pretty cheap. Other than the price of some metals going up lately, you can kind of get your foot in the miniature making door pretty easily.
Why do the bubbles, after I pop them, they just show up again?
I honestly am not sure. Just move on, and if you have to go back, hopefully, the vibration of your painting and what have you will... I think I'm actually running out of paint here. I'm going to have to squirt some more.
I think I am too.
Well, you have an easier job at... You just have to dump it out. I have to mix some more.
I guess that's a good thing, because you need to show them how you actually made it. even though it's incredibly simple and easy.
No, not you. Not you've got plenty more in the bottle.
I'm talking about
What I did?
Yeah.
Oh, I just added a couple of drops of Flow Aid. It's no big recipe.
Yeah, even though it is actually I feel like the only difference between that, because the one thing I don't like is it's lost how dark it is. Because of how thin you spread it out.
Maybe.
It now just looks like like an actual gunmetal, instead of a.
I may go over it if you.
It depends. Do you want it to actually be like a really dark or not? Really
Yeah,
dark,
I thought it was actually darker than this, but I will go and.
I'm pretty sure it is, but the only reason it isn't is because you watered it down out of fluid.
You could be right. I'm gonna have to experiment
you should
with.
probably add one more, like 2 coats.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say exactly. Smart kid. If I don't like the way it looks, if I don't like the way it looks when it's dry, I will go over it and darken it up. I could just add a wash, but I don't really want to use that much wash on this because I'm going to wash it after I dry brush it.
You know something weird? Is it me or is this version of the blue contrast paint a bit different than the other one? They're both really good, but this one just seems a bit. It might be the bubbles, but it seems a bit less.
Contrasty?
No, not contrast. I mean the color.
It's the same exact recipe. I really don't see much difference, but
maybe it's just my memory.
We can compare it to the floor tiles that we're trying to make it match. The Dungeons and Lasers balls.
Yeah, but it won't completely because I don't want it to be an exact copy.
Right.
And the floor will be. Yeah, I need to. A bit more. Also, this thing is very prone to falling over. And I don't.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Even I realized that the dirt car was really like that as well because we didn't put the fire piece in his mouth. But even Schmorgenrog seemed to have a little bit of trouble standing. I don't know if anybody else has had that issue.
Yeah, but it wasn't nowhere near as bad for Schmorgenrog.
Yeah.
Schmorgenrog, whatever we call him, or it is actually called.
We will definitely be looking into adding lead weights or washers or things like that to add to the bottoms of these bases because it seems just a shame that I have to constantly worry about them tipping over. The beast was making some noises. Probably needs to go outside, do his business.
Yes, very,
Dog-like.
I wanted to make a joke, but then I realized I can't. It was unfunny anyways, never mind.
Okay. You ran it through your head a couple of times.
I knew it was going to be somewhat unfunny, but I realized it.
So you're making dad jokes already?
No, not really.
Oh, okay, because sounds like it might have been a dad joke.
No. It really wasn't going to. It's just, I was going to say it knowing it was going to sound really dumb, but then I realized it was going to sound too dumb, and I also realized I probably shouldn't say it.
Oh, okay. Not safe for work?
No. Just... Well, I realized I probably shouldn't say it for reasons I'll tell you later when the video's done. But also then after that I realized it wouldn't have been funny anyways. It was already... It actually would have been better than most things you say, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I see how you are tonight.
Actually, maybe not. I don't know. Oh. Anyways.
You get it on your hand?
Oh.
Welcome to the world of painting.
Yeah, I know.
If you don't get some paint on you, then you're not really a painter. You're
a guy who paints.
I don't know what to call it. But
a sciencer. Well, what was that? I already forgot. what was it, scientism or something?
I'm not sure. I'm probably talking about something I wouldn't know anything about. I actually like this color. I don't mind it being, if this is a lightened version, I don't actually mind.
So you're not giving it a second coat?
I'm gonna wait and compare it to the miniature we painted, and maybe do a little splotch test and see what it really looks like without the flow aid. But I don't really see the flow aid. It could be the actual primer that's underneath it that's doing it.
Maybe. By the way, what's the difference between the painting primer and the not painting primer?
The paint and primer has literally primer and paint mixed together, so that when you spray it, you get basically a 2-for-1. You get two. It's basically thicker. You know, and
I assume this doesn't give it much color at all.
what the?
So just primer.
Well, yeah, it does. It
So-
definitely makes it white,
Okay, so
but it's
why
much thinner.
Then why did you ever use the white paint and primer?
I use that mostly for the Dungeons and Lasers floor and wall sections, because they're going to get not just a lot of, handling, but rough handling, because sometimes you have to, really work to get the pieces together or disassemble them, or, moving them around a lot, and they're gonna see a lot more action than just a miniature would just sitting on the table. I think he's gonna fall over. It's about the last of what I poured out, so I'm gonna have to squirt some more out, and well, I just can't get to that. Oh, there we go. Had one little spot I just couldn't reach. When that happens, change your positioning and come at it from a different angle. Like so many things in life, sometimes fresh perspective or a new angle is all it takes to solve that little problem. Yeah, I'm actually really
4
digging.
plus 4 plus 5.
Okay, we're not doing math tonight. I didn't put my math hat on.
I mean 4 plus 5 plus 5. Sorry, I made bad math. I'm bad at math. I made bad maths.
Okay, let's try not to wiggle the table too
That
much.
joke would have been even more unfunny if that was the case.
It's looking good.
And also distasteful.
I really like that.
The paint.
The blue, yeah, it's
I
definitely.
mean, we already knew this paint or
No,
blue
but
was good.
I was a little apprehensive of making these really scary dragons so
Scary.
so unscary by making him bright blue.
Oh, I thought we were gonna have to bring in some flowers.
No flowers tonight. Maybe next time.
You know, why did I actually make? Why did I say that? That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, most people won't get it, but there's a few of our viewers who will.
And by a few, you mean
2.
yeah.
All right, back to painting. Oh, I missed his foot. The tail seems to be like the most challenging part to get paint in, huh?
It was actually the easiest for me.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, you've got contrast paint, so maybe. But it just seems like it's going to just try to slurp up as much paint as possible and hold it. And hold on to it.
Why do I keep forgetting?
Yeah, that was... You need
Not good.
allergy medicine every day.
Why is this? What? Oh yeah, I didn't have my allergy medicine today. It's probably why it's so bad.
Yeah.
Was it maybe because I went to the desert, the faraway desert,
Farther away than our backyard desert.
farther away than the desert next to the school?
Yeah. Oh,
Almost an hour away.
I'm actually missing spots that I just didn't see.
Are we gonna do what we did with the green dragon and just leave them unpainted?
No. These I can reach. I just am amazed that I thought I got that area and I didn't. You getting close to full coverage there? Wow.
Yeah, but I still am using a lot of contrast paint.
Right, but
Oh, that's a lot.
it's okay. I just surprised that you're banging it out faster than I am.
You're using a different type of paint.
Yeah, I still have... Oh, you still have the other sides of the wings, too.
Just one wing.
Oh, wow. You really are jamming faster than I am.
Well,
Make sure you go over it with your eyes and make sure you don't miss anything, because adding a second layer of contrast paint can actually force you to have to make the entire... The
entire what?
You have to... If you put one layer of contrast paint on something and then you miss a spot, you might have to really actually give the whole miniature a second coating, because it will be obvious that there's like a difference in the paint in the area that you put the second coat on.
I do, yeah. I mean, every batch of contrast paint is a small amount different, because it can't be, you can't be exact in your measurements unless you're using a machine. And even then, I might get stuff wrong.
You know, it adds a darkness to that contrast paint that makes it obvious that one area's got less paint on it than the other. I found that out doing the Xeno layers. If I put a second coat
Didn't the
on.
dry brushing fix that?
In some cases, I was able to hide it, but not all of them.
Oh, I never noticed it.
Yeah. If you look carefully, you can see some of the tiles, the floors and walls.
Should I go against the wing grain stuff or with it?
Well, with it, that way it doesn't pull up. Because when you go against the grain, it pulls, like it sort of scrapes paint out of the brush. And you don't want, that's where you'll get pooling in with the contrast paint. You don't really want that much pooling. You do want it to go in the cracks and crevices, but if it puddles up, it will not look as good as a wash, because it will dry much darker.
It's weird how not that much was able to do the whole wing.
Yeah. That's because it's such a smooth, flat surface. It just, it wants to just cover.
How did I miss that?
The same way I just, like I said, missed a bunch of areas myself.
It was kind of hidden, but it was one of the wing arm things.
What do you think?
Pretty good.
It's a pretty interesting color. Really like that. I was hoping it was a little darker and shinier like the original Alien from the Alien movies, but the fact that it's not, I'm actually kind of digging it. I'm not sure what I'm going to dry brush it with, though, to be honest. I wanted to go green, but now I'm thinking not so much.
And I was thinking of, I don't know, I mean, you should add some green to it, though.
Yeah, I am. But I'm not sure if I should do a metallic or a neon. I think neon would be good for some small areas, but not like we did before.
I think you should do both.
Metallic and neon?
Just in different areas. Okay.
And I think I'm going to do the base completely different than its actual color.
I'm doing the base blue.
Yeah, I don't think. I wanted to do it just basic, gunmetal, black, and then dry brush silver. But I'm actually thinking I want to do it to match one of the actual floor schemes that we used before.
Which is what I'm doing.
Yeah, maybe even the same.
Oh, I didn't realize there's a lot for dropping.
That's okay. I may even do it the same as your floor, by using contrast paint after I re-primer or repaint the areas that I get over spray or drops on, because I know that's
a lot of paint. Right here?
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's what these boards are for. We just use it.
Have I done nearly everything except from a few places I missed?
Oh, let me take a look. That looks really good. It's really sharp. That would be a very interesting color to use on an actual blue dragon. You know,
But we're not.
No, we're going to use a completely different color blue, aren't we?
An entirely different type of color blue.
Well, remember we were talking about using a certain color that we really liked.
You already used it before.
Yeah, but in a different way, I think.
It wasn't strong before. Yeah, we're using the color that we used before and used on him. We've actually used a version of that color on a previous dragon. I'm basically already saying it, but still.
Alright.
So
Making
it's...
some progress. You're almost done for the night?
Yeah, but I made one mistake here. Hopefully that dries into being actually good. Actually, why did I do that? I'm just going to paint over it.
With the dry brushing?
I almost want to do a second coat. But...
No, you're not gonna?
No, I might. I still might. But just later.
You probably have enough, but I can't really tell. The bottle looks like it still has quite a bit in it.
Oh, that was what you were pointing to. I thought you were...
Okay, I think all I got is the wing left. But I need to get a little bit more paint into the bottle. And he was worried that I was going to use up all of this bottle of this really cool Army Painter night scale, but
I didn't realize that you had the... I forgot about the...
Floyd?
Yeah. I forgot that you can just add it.
Yeah, actually, I think it was a really smart decision, and I'm going to actually think about adding Flow 8 a little more often, especially
Just a lot less.
Yeah, but I mean, to Army Painter paints. My only complaint I've ever had with Army Painter paints is that they're just sometimes a little too thick, and
I mean, their washes are good, but
their washes are some of the best in the business, I think.
Yeah.
Every painter I've ever watched a video from has seemed to always, you know, keep them in their collection of
and I
paints.
agree, they're really good. I mean, we both like Vallejo's regular paints a bit better.
Yeah, well, because they're thinner and
And the only reason I want to
less clumpy, and you know, Army Painter's paints sometimes can really get thick and unpleasant if you don't shake them up right, or if they dry out a little, or you just get a bad batch. I've had a couple of bottles that just seem to just be nothing, be just almost craft store quality paints, and you know, we all know that they're usable, but
you don't want to use them.
Yeah,
The neon paints are a good example. They turn out good, but they're so hard to work with.
Yeah, you really
Kind of like doing Milliput.
Yeah, it's
I mean, he likes Milliput a lot more than I do.
it's a hit and miss thing. I've only, I think, had 2 or 3 bottles of Army Painter that I was really upset with, and I still use them. I just, you know, found ways around it. Sometimes just by adding a little bit of water or shake them for.
Actually, do you think adding Floyd to the neon paints and other paints, craft paints that we still use would help them?
If done correctly, I think that and a large amount of shaking of the bottle and mixing the bottles. I'm planning on actually buying a nail polish bottle shaker that I've seen so many other people use, where you put the
Do you think I'm done excluding the base?
Hold on, let me finish this.
Do a second coat on the head.
Yeah, I would be very careful with the base.
I mean, I'm gonna paint the base the same color.
Then definitely.
But only one coat instead of 2 coats.
Then definitely. But the nail polish shaker is a device I've seen a lot of.
Oh wow, that stabbed him really.
A lot of YouTubers have recommended. It basically shakes your nail polish, you know, insanely fast and vigorously, which, you know, if you use it for shaking your paint, will make sure it's nice and even and thoroughly mixed. And I've seen them, you know, on eBay and Amazon, and I've been eyeballing one and just debating on whether or not to.
Okay, I'm done.
Oh, really? Wow, I'm almost done too. That was amazing because I thought you were going to finish so much sooner than me because of the contrast, ease of usage.
I did do a second coat though.
Everywhere?
In a lot of places because...
Oh, missed a spot.
But I'm still technically doing said second coat. I'll probably continue to do it a bit after the video. By the way, usually I only do half of them, but it's obvious.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, normally he only paints half of the project in the video and then does the rest off camera. But tonight...
Not the case. I've learned.
He did the entire...
I've learned from the dragon. The bone dragon.
Really?
No, I want it. It's a completely different reason.
Oh, okay, because
it's just easy. Hopefully this video's 40 minutes long. Okay.
Normally we try to keep our videos to about a half hour.
Max.
But we've had a few long videos, and...
Well, I think this is good. At least mine is.
What do you think? Same here. Careful. Let's show them off to the people at home, and we can wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. Hope you guys all spoiled your mom's rotten and let her have the day off from taking care of you and all those things that they do. I know it's really hard to tell because it's such a dark color and I'm wearing black and the boards are black.
Well, I think that's it.
I really like that. That's really gonna stand out from all the other Xenodragons I've seen painted.
Yeah, I mean, I do have another idea for a Xenodragon that's very similar to this.
Well, fortunately, we have 2 more in boxes.
But I am going to add some modifications to it.
We can always get another one from Archon if we ever run out. Yeah, I could see painting half a dozen of these and still wanting more. This is a very...
But what kind of dozen? Actually, never mind, that wouldn't work.
I said a half a dozen. This is a very fun dragon.
Oh, and I know,
to put together.
We can't paint half of a dragon.
Yeah.
Because they're on multiple subsets.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a great week. Come back and see us on Tuesday.
Because that... I'm tired of me. I'm tired of...
That joke?
Yeah. At this point, it's an overused joke to say it's an overused joke.
So, have a great week, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. And we'll see you guys Tuesday. Good night.
Yes. Good night.